Hi there. Welcome to another one of my Own Your Expertise interviews. I'm Emily Crookston, owner and decider of all things at the Pocket PhD. I'm the ghostwriter for Rebels, Renegades, and Mavericks, and I love helping experts with big ideas get those ideas out of their heads and into the hands of their fans. Today, I'm sitting down with Heidi Giusto. Heidi is the founder of Career Path Writing Solutions. She's a certified professional resume writer and interview coach. She's a facilitator of workshops and a university instructor. Heidi, thanks so much for speaking with me. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about who you work with and what you do?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here and to join your series. And so, who I work with, really, I work with a lot of people, individuals, businesses, and also people at universities and larger organizations. But categorically, these tend to be people who are looking to proactively manage their careers or businesses. So, in very pragmatic terms, I work with a whole lot of job seekers and business owners.
Great. Yeah, and you were telling me before we went live that you live and breathe resumes, but you also do developmental editing, right?
I do, yeah. So I came into what I do really from a perspective of as a writing consultant. So I wear a lot of hats where I'm a resume writer, I'm an interview coach, I'm a book editor, I work on LinkedIn. So lots of different things, but really it's all united around this idea of when the stakes are high, like communicating when it really matters most. And I came into this by way of writing consulting, and that started back in my graduate student days.
Ah, cool. Yeah, so tell us about your path to becoming the expert that you are.
Yeah, and thank you. I think it's generous to call me an expert. Thank you. I'm always learning. I'm a lifelong learner. So my background is that I was going to school at Duke University to become a history professor. And I finished that path, but about halfway through what turned out for me to be an 8-year program, I realized that I really loved working with writers because I was working at Duke's writing studio and I loved it. And really, I kept that role and I followed. It sounds corny, but I guess I kind of followed my gut or my soul, my heart. I don't know, whatever. Um, and yeah, so I turned that interest and passion for working with writers and teaching workshops into my business. And I launched Career Path Writing Solutions shortly after I graduated. That was my plan A. And I have been writing resumes and working with job seekers and working with authors ever since.
Very good. So, how do people usually find you? How do job seekers find you?
Mm. I think the two main ways are going to be through referral, right? Referral, and I think when you treat people right, they come back to you and they spread the word. And then also online. I have a new website actually. It just launched this week, so online, and you and we bump into each other on LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn.
Right.
So those are the two main ways.
So tell us, what is your die in a ditch belief? And for the audience, a die in a ditch belief is something that you've thought long and hard about. It's something you would defend if someone pressed you on it. It might be a little controversial. It draws a line in the sand for you. And I really loved Heidi's answer to this question.
I would say mine should not be controversial at all, but it is absolutely a line in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
And that is always functioning from a standpoint of integrity in absolutely every single thing I do. And I think it's really important, I'd say in all fields, but especially in mine, because let's face it, I'm in a field where a lot of people think, oh, resumes, oh, I got to add fluff. I hate fluff. I am all about positioning my clients in the best light possible.
I wonder if you have some, general advice for job seekers about how to
Yeah.
approach writing a resume.
Yeah. what you experienced is very normal, because sometimes what I tell my clients, it's like, well, most people don't wrap up work after a long week, sit down on a Friday night and say, let me think about my accomplishments. Let me think about the value I bring to my employer, right? We just, a lot of people just don't think in those terms. And frankly, that's probably a good thing, that we're not all like, let me talk about how wonderful I am.
Right.
So it's very normal. It's a challenging task. But the what I tell people, kind of the litmus test of, do you put it on a resume or not? And there's many considerations, but a big one is, do you want to talk about this in an interview? Right? Because really, a resume is trying to set you up to have an amazing interview. It's to set up an interview that you want to have. So you don't want to put something on there and then you walk into an interview, or you sign in, Zoom in, whatever, to an interview, and you think, I just hope they don't ask me about whatever, right?
Yeah.
One piece of advice, and I could go on and on.
Yeah,
But one thing is, make sure it's something you really want to bring up in an interview before you put it on.
So do you work with people in particular fields, or is it really all over the map with resume writing?
Great question. It is all over the map. One thing that I don't do is work on applications for federal jobs. So I do not work with federal style resumes. Those are their own beast. Otherwise, I work with people across all different disciplines, all different fields, and at all levels of responsibility. So I've taught professional development for a couple years at NC State in their graduate program they have, and that included, resume writing, cover letters, LinkedIn, interview prep, all of that. And I also work with, C-suite executives. So it's a big range.
Very cool. That's great. I love how you've parlayed your previous work into business. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, I had all these little, in grad school, I had little jobs. I was trying things out, and that really helped me refine what I wanted to do. And I've loved it ever since day one of this.
Awesome. It's so smart to try on those different hats when you're in grad school, when you have you have time to do that. You have space, to just try things on and figure out what works. And I really admire that. Why don't you tell us where people can find you if they're curious?
Yes. I encourage anyone to take a look at my website, which is, of course, www.careerpathwritingsolutions.com. And if anyone wants to connect on LinkedIn, I'm Heidi Scott Giusto, PhD, as my name on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Thank you, Heidi. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you. Have a good day.